Yo, what is going on YouTube? This your boy Kamen Rider Zero Spike back again once again. Today, people, today we're here for Kamen Rider Geats episode 40. And man, this is a big episode, guys. This is a big episode. We see that KY is entering his revenge slash villain arc, and I'm really looking forward to it because this is my favorite character, and I'm ready to see him take out and bust some heads. But I hope he's busting the heads of the people that deserve it. But it doesn't seem like it. Seems like next episode he going after everybody. But this episode was actually pretty dope. The bad guys got a win in this episode. We got to see the new game master. Well, back in like not in full force, but basically he is he proved that he ain't really nothing to mess with right now, and he's actually something to be actually like kind of mindful of. We see that this guy is him and Samus. For some reason, it's just like her whole evil villain persona has come out, and she is basically his new secretary. And and I'm really just ready to see what they got going on, because it seems they also end up recruiting Beruba and Kakera, actually basically recruiting them and also rewarding them with these like exclusive like black cards that will basically give them like new powers. So most likely we're gonna see them like get new rider forms. Most likely new rider forms, and I'm hoping that they're actually real rider forms and not these weird looking and not these big ugly weird super CGI mechs. Like we only see Kakera transform once, but that's all I needed. I don't need to see him turn to like a giant futuristic mecha frog again. I don't need to see that. And same thing with Beruba. Her freaking giant mech whatever, it looks freaking stupid. I'm sorry. They need real rider forms. They need real rider forms, real suits, and having real fights instead of these big CGI messes that they were before. Sorry, small tangent, but that's just how I feel about it. But this episode, we see that Kawa and Buffa have decided to join back up with Geats, because after them meeting up with after them coming into contact with Beruba and Kakera and seeing and think about the little schemes and stuff they also have going on with us, and also feeling kind of powerless with the whole Jamato situation that's happening right now. And Kawa feels like that he's they still gotta protect we gotta protect the stuff that he didn't get his wish originally, but he still wants that wish in the end. But also he still wants to protect the new world that they have now. Buffa is just like, hey, the DGP left some trash behind and we gotta clean that up. And we also see that Daichi has returned in he dresses up as his regular self at first, but before we see him talking with Kakera and Beruba and him speaking. We see that Beruba does bring back his ID core. It's cracked, but she brings back his ID core, and he says he doesn't need it. While he says that, he shows them all the little Jamato parasites that he is actually created, and we see him releasing them into the air while they fly off to go infect more people. We also saw that he ends up picking up a baby Jamato and in like a little infant Jamato and eats it. When he eats it, we'll see what you'll see what happens next after that. But we also see that Neon Ace does save Neon. Ace does, he goes and he saves Neon and tells Neon that I'm going to make this world a brand new world for all of you to live, for everyone to be happy, including you. And we see that Neon she ends up actually going home. She ends up going and talking to her mother, and we see that her dad is in custody because of the of everything, like he's basically like under watch and stuff. Like he's in custody because of the stuff that's going on with that stuff that happened with the DGP, and now his company is essentially just trying to get rid of him. They don't have to kneel before him anymore. They're essentially just trying to get rid of him, and most likely he's going to lose his company and all the bunch of stuff. We see that Neon's mom is watching the TV. Neon comes in and she speaks with her mom, and her mom apologizes to her about everything, but her mom basically asks her, please come back, stay with me, please. And then Neon's like, no, my friend is already helping me establish my new home, and she ends up leaving. She doesn't talk to her mom at all. Like, she really just doesn't talk to her like that. But we see that her mom is just devastated. Like, her mom is messed up, and this woman needs some type of help. Like, this woman is stressed out. Can't imagine what she's going through. I mean, she's still kind of weird, but I can tell that apology that she did gave to Neon was genuine, because she did say that, even though she said, I'm sorry that I made you Akira's replacement, stuff like that. But growing up and me loving you was always generous and always genuine, and was no lies. So she says that, but she does say that it was genuine. But Neon ends up leaving. We see that Sarah is basically tells Keiwa that after he tells her that he decides to be in the Kamen Rider again, she basically says that I'll be the one that brings in the money and stuff to the house, while you can focus on being a Kamen Rider. And she shows him this hairpin or bow that she has and stuff like that. We see her go and apply for a job. She ends up getting the job, but that's when the Jamato end up attacking. When the Jamato attack, we see that she after that her new boss is egging her, basically saying that, hey, it's too dangerous. And we see that Sarah starts fighting starts fighting some of the Jamato and protecting the people there. That's when Daichi shows up, and he explains to her that Jamato are back and what they're doing, and they're parasites at stage 1. They just affect you, but if you end up being the Jamato, they can be pulled out. But if they hit stage 2, then if they hit stage 2 and they affect you, then you can't essentially you can't be cured or whatever. If you die, you just die for real. And yeah, when we see that Keiwa sees that his sister didn't come home, and she texts him and tells him that she ran into Daichi. So Keiwa goes to the headquarters, and he talks to Buffa and Geats and Sumidi about it, and she tells them that, hey, he said that Daichi is up to something. If he does anything, my sister, stuff like that. And that's when Ace is like, hey, let's go look for her. So they have their original buckles back. Buffa has the zombie buckle, and then KY has the ninja buckle. So they have their regular base stuff back. So they're not naked out here. But we see that Sumidi does tell Keiwa that they don't have any other buckles. They just have their regular base buckles that they always use. So no boost buckle, no fever buckle, no other buckles are here. It's just theirs. So they're regular base stuff. So really, most likely aren't gonna see any power ups or anything like that. Most not gonna see monster or anything like that right now, at least, because Geats just got this back started. So most likely not gonna see any new buckles, any of the old buckles. But we see that the whole area where Sarah was fighting that Jamato is being sectioned off, and we see that Buffa goes there, and we see that there is a cocoon looking thing in the middle of it, and he goes in to end up destroying it, and it outbursts a Jamato, a regular base Jamato, and he goes off and starts fighting that Jamato. While that's how we see Punk Jack ends up going to talk with Samus and Nato or Nito. I think that what the new game master's name is. He's like, usually you guys are still treating people like pawns, and stuff like that. And then dude turns around and just starts throwing hands with Punk Jack. Just starts throwing hands with him. He tries to kick him, all this stuff, and he's like, you want to be a pawn again? And he was like, nah, I don't want. Nah, I'm good. And he tells him that, hey, where's Sumidi, so we can find her, turn her into the new goddess of creation. Punk Jack's like, nah, that's not even cool. She's Ace's sister now. And that's when the new guy is like, well, go ahead. Well, I guess you better protect her then. And they walk off. They leave. I'm like, this dude kind of smooth. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing I'll hope he has his own writer format. He just doesn't turn into a freaking different version of Gazer or something like that. Like I'm hoping that he has his own thing. I mean, at least his own thing, because I'm like, we've seen Gazer and freaking and Glare so many times. We need to get something new at least. But um, after that, we end up seeing that Buffa is fighting that Jamato that bust out of the cocoon, and while he's talking to, and Bedaba ends up coming up, and we see that there's something is amiss. She talks to him about like, so you decide just to be a goody two shoes type guy and whatever. He's like, nah. He's like, nah. I'm just gonna clean up the trash and get rid of you and all this other stuff. And Bedaba's like, well, he said, you're not gonna be a hero on my watch. Like, you're not gonna be. I want to see your misery. I don't want to see you come up. I want to see you down. And Buffa's like, bring it on. I'll take out anything you got coming to me. And while that's happening, we did see that Geats and Keiwa ended up running into Daichi. Say, hey, where's my sister? Stuff like that. And we see that Daichi's like, I don't know. He's like, we only talked for like a few minutes, man. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, we talked about all the new Jamato that are popping up. How do I'm supposed to know where she went after? I don't know where she went. And Geats is like, you can't fool me, bro. Like, what you got going on? Like, Geats got right to the point. He didn't think about anything. I'm just gonna get right to the point. Where's his sister at? What you got going on? And then Daichi's like, he smiles. He does that smile, and he transforms into a powerful Jamato, like this big orange and silver looking Jamato. He can travel within the ground and things like that. Like he had like earth bending kind of sandy powers, and he starts fighting him and he starts fighting Keiwa, and fighting Geats. Geats ends up holding him off, and tells Keiwa to go find his sister. So Keiwa goes off to go find his sister while Buffa is still fighting this random base looking Jamato, and he ends up destroying that Jamato. When he destroys that Jamato, that's when Keiwa runs in. He sees Buffa fighting this Jamato. This Jamato ends up burning away. It turns out it was Sarah. That was the Jamato he was fighting was his sister. But even though he defeated her, he didn't. She was in stage 2, which means if you were in stage 2 and you get defeated, the person that was infected ends up dying, and that's when we see Kekera and Bedaba come in, and they're both basically getting their wishes. They're seeing Buffa deal with despair, because Buffa was like, Buffa saw this and he was like, oh my god, he's like, oh my, I killed her. I didn't know it was her. Like I killed her. And then Keiwa's sitting there trying to hold her, and she's sinking, like these roots are growing all over her body. She's sinking into the ground, and he's like, don't go and stuff like. She's like, I just want to protect people like you. And she tells him, I just want to protect people like you any way I could, and she ends up sinking into the ground. And Geats is still fighting Daichi at this point, and Geats doesn't know this is happening, but that's when Keiwa, he screams, he runs over, he looks at Buffa, and he's like, was it you? He was like, yeah. And Buffa was like, he came clean with it. He was just like, yeah, I killed her. And he runs over, punches Buffa in the face, and screaming at him, saying, why'd you kill my sister? He's like, I didn't know it was her. Like, and I'm like, bro, I understand your anger, I understand it, but at the same time, he didn't know it was her. He didn't know. He was just doing his job, essentially, just taking out a Jamato that was appearing, and he didn't know it was her. And I was like, bro, you should not be mess with Buffa. I mean, like, yeah, you could be mad at Buffa, but you really need to be mad at Daichi. He's the real enemy here. Like, and we see Keiwa is left there in the rain, and he's like holding her bow, and we see the image of his new like Dark Rider form, like clipping in and clipping out, like it's being manifested, and the episode ends with his new rider form. He doesn't turn into it, but it foreshadows his new rider form, which looks really, really freaking cool. And with next episode, it's gonna come out, and we're gonna see him like trying to kill Buffer and fighting everybody, and just going off in this big rage. And we see Sumidi. She's saying that all this is too much going on and stuff like that. And I'm probably most likely she's gonna use her powers to maybe bring Sarah back. And most likely this form that Kay was going to get, it might end up being a dark form, but might end up being turning into something else. But yeah, man, I'm like, wow, they really did it. They really freaking did it. And now we're going to have Kay just become this freaking beast. I mean, it took a long time, but we got here. But I'm just sitting here like, what's gonna happen now that, and how is Geats gonna handle it? I mean, Geats is God essentially, so but we don't know how powerful this new Keiwa is going to be. And also we still got Samus and Naito. I have to get his name, but the new game master out here too. So I'm sitting here wondering like, what are they gonna do right now? And also with Kikeda and Betaba, now that they have these new powers, I'm hoping that Keiwa is going to go after them too. He has to. So, yeah. But other than that, you guys let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think of this episode of Kamen Rider Geats. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Are you surprised that they actually killed his sister? And do you think they're going to find a way to bring her back? I mean, they have to. Like, bring her back or whatever. You guys let me know, and I'm gonna see you guys next time. So remember, make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you guys next time. Remember, as I always say, stay henshined.